Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal podcast called the Immortal Podcast. I'm here with Indez today to talk about the new update that's going to be dropping. I believe it's tomorrow inside of the game. And I want to open up right here with when I was discussing these patch notes, I actually made a mistake, Indez. Sing the Ballad of the Moon. I was mistaken. I, for some reason, thought this was a 4,500 orb cosmetic cross-class, but actually we're looking at a Phantom Market cosmetic right here that costs an additional 4,500 orbs for the tempering that we have from the past. I appreciate you kind of reminding me or letting me know that, man, no, this is Phantom Market. Dude, how you doing, man? Let's get into this update.
I'm doing good, man. Welcome to be back. I always like to do these Immortal, podcasts, and it's always fun to speak about the Immortal and be back here.
Yes.
So, yeah, regarding this one, it is gonna be a Phantom Market cosmetic, so you're still gonna have to pay like the 11,000 obols around that price, and then on top of that, well, you can pay even extra to change the color of your hair. I think the aloe ring as well as your back cosmetic. So there's a few things that you can actually like change. One of the things that I noticed like regarding this Phantom cosmetic is that it is very similar to the one that we had like last year. If we compare like both of them,
You talking about
like,
this
I don't
one?
see like a
Skyborn
no,
Scourge?
no, this is like this was more recent. Like if you go below, it is that one. Yeah, that one in specific. It was
Yeah.
last year that you could also do the tempering to
Yes.
change the color of your shirt and the color of your snake. So I mean, honestly, if you have the extra money, like personally, I just think like paying $50 or $60 to change the color of my shirt. I'd rather just buy a new shirt from the mall.
Yeah.
But regardless, it is up to you. What do you want to do? Cosmetics, they it is always like a way that they gonna monetize the channel if they want to go and they just want to like keep perceiving with like some changes, some alterations that people are willing to pay.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I think it is better still than having more pay to win mechanics inside the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the polishing and the tempering is a little bit silly because the change that you see is so minimal between the polishing and
Yeah.
the tempering. But at the same time, you're right. It's not a pay to win mechanic. It's a better way to monetize than pay to win stuff. But either way, is what it is. That's coming back. I made a mistake in my video that I posted yesterday regarding that, so I want to start there and clear it up. But there's a lot more going on inside of this update, or is there a lot more going on inside of this update? We're gonna go through it right now. So we have some changes here. Now, I want to preface, Indez, there's a lot of repeat things, right? Like we're seeing a lot of stuff that's just returning events, returning things, new version of it. One of those, the Fight in the Chaos Convoy. Essentially here, you're going to be having a PvP element where you get these different blessings, which change some of the buffs that you have. Those drop every 90 seconds. By the way, this is going on between February 4th and the 23rd. I guess what I'm going to kind of ask you as we go is like, I already shared with my audience what my thoughts are on a lot of these things, but what are your thoughts on this type of PvP? I believe that we're getting double rewards in Battlegrounds as well during this time, though, which is kind of nice.
So this it's gonna be like from my understanding, a different limited time event. So the same way as you go into Conqueror, Wild Brawler, you probably will also be able to queue into this one. I'm sure like you also gonna have is associated rewards that you're gonna get into it. I mean, like personally, I feel like it is maybe a fast way for them to pick up existing content that we already have, add like maybe one or two mechanics on top, and then now all of a sudden we have a new game mode that we can actually play. Personally, I prefer that than always having to spam the same like game modes that we've been having for the past like 2 or 3 years. This one, it seems like they are taking a risk. Like roguelite games usually tend to be exciting because no match is exactly the same or no level is exactly the same. Like Vampire Survivor is a perfect example of that. I like the randomness. If it's gonna be like absolutely crazy, I don't know. I still have to try it out, but at least it's something new, and I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, and there's two things that I like. One, and no two matches are quite the same. You'll earn twice the Battleground rewards.
Yeah.
That's always good, especially for people that are like maybe not PvPers. This is something that could push them into doing some PvP, get more rewards. But also, it says, please note that during the event, Paragon skills, specializations, warband remnants, and boss skill affixes on equipment will be disabled in this game mode. So no disabled gems or anything, but some things have gotten that disability at least.
Yeah, I think like whenever they say battleground rewards, I think like it's like those rewards that you get if you do like 3 battlegrounds per
Yes.
day,
Mm-hmm.
you get it extra. I think it's gonna be more or less like that.
Yeah.
And then like removing a bit of power to probably compensate for the extra power that you're getting from these chaos gifts or whatever they are called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to try. Like maybe a few matches, and if it is become very popular, maybe that is gonna bring to the game a bit more often.
Yeah, it's something that I've said a lot in the past that they can always test events, and if the events do well, if they're popular, if people like them, then just make it a staple inside of the game. So this could be a look at something like that. I mean, honestly, Indez, this is probably the most exciting or newest thing that's coming in the update right now. Besides the essences, we all posted the essences early on our channels. The reason is it was leaked by someone over in China, so Blizzard was like, "Oh, it's leaked. You
The
guys can
classic.
go." Yeah, figures, man. So we kind of put our videos out letting everyone know what the essences are. I don't want to spend a ton of time going through all the essences. You have a video on them. I have a video on them. But are there any things that you're excited about? I know that you're one of the master builders of different builds in the game. Is there anything that you're liking?
So we can just like glance through them like very quickly.
Okay.
On the barbarian, I think like now we are going to shift into a more tanky build. So that we are gonna have the fortified. Also with the leap, whenever you're gonna jump, you're gonna fear everyone around you. Maximum life is gonna be starting to be part of like the new tanky meta. We also saw that with the new 5-star, the Fated Trail, that is also abusing like the mechanic of max life equals to damage. So I think like the game is shifting more into that direction. The only concern that I have is like maximum life usually is always going to be better for whales because with the resonance your life will scale. So a whale will have, for example, a million HP, and a low reso or a free-to-play player probably has like 400. So the damage and the benefits that you take are quite different. Barbarian, I think it is promising. I'm quite excited about it. If we
Me
go
too.
into the Blood Knight, the Blood Knight is gonna have some new pants that gonna give them like immunity to loss of control. Also, there is one helmet that it seems like quite good. It's like while you are in the abomination, you're gonna have bleeding targets around you, and it's gonna have damage reduction. It is very important because as a Blood Knight, you wanna go a bit more tanky because you're a melee class. For the Crusader, they are just trying to change the Crusader into like a lightning. We are until now is all about fire damage, and then we use the Condemn to instantly resolve. Now we are switching, or they are trying to switch into these like lightning horse that you're gonna have. This gonna apply shock. Also trying to use the Feast of Heavens for the shock damage. We'll have to see. Crusader got like a huge boost like recently with the Wind Horse, so we'll have to see how this fits. For the Demon Hunter, man, here the only thing it's like everything seems like kind of like useless except the chest instance. That if you read it, it's gonna be the first instance for Demon Hunter that's gonna transform you. So we had like for example the Necromancer that transforms into a Golem. And now the Demon Hunter also is gonna transform into I think it's the Avatar of Vengeance. That's
Yes.
gonna remove the CC, and you're also gonna have new skills. So we need to see what are the new skills to actually see if it's gonna be good or not. For the Druid, I feel like
Indez,
it is gonna
Indez,
be.
before you go,
Sorry.
I got a question about that one. Do you think that's gonna? Remember, we were recently talking about the primal power system that's there with the druid, and
Yeah.
how, and then you mentioned that older classes may start to be buffed and changed. Do you think like they're talking about increasing skill damage, changing form, and granting new active skills? Can that be something along the lines of that druid primal power mechanic? Do you think a version
No,
of it?
I don't think it's gonna be that. I think it's gonna be like the Golem in Necromancer. I
Okay.
don't know if you ever played, but it's like
Yeah.
you click on the Golem and you just transform into a Golem. So the Golem, it is a buff. It's not a actual like transformation mechanic like we have the werewolf and we have the abomination, so they are like slightly different.
Okay.
In the future we probably can have something like that. I think it'll be like extremely exciting to add something like that for Demon Hunter, but I don't see something like reading there that if you do damage you're gonna get some extra energy, and
Right.
then once you are full then you're gonna be able to transform. So I think like if we saw something like that, maybe in the future there's something exciting for Demon Hunter or any other old class.
Okay. Makes sense.
Um,
Thank you.
For the druid, here is all about like they are trying to boost like this support role. Like support role, it is already viable, but it's not like competing yet with the other S tier builds with the druid. Personally, I have to test it out. We have to see what it's gonna be. It's always gonna be like about like the circle of life, summons of Oak Sage. Nothing like something extremely exciting. I don't think the meta for druid is gonna change a lot, especially in PvE. For the monk is actually one of the cases that we actually had the helmet. The shield of Zen actually is gonna increase your skill damage. We already have one exact answer that says exactly the same thing. So maybe it is gonna be a mistake, or maybe there's missing some text. The new main hand, it seems like kind of be good for PvP. But I don't, from reading the answers, I don't think nothing will like really change a lot for monks, especially in PvE, which is I think it is the class that is the most boring right now for PvE. So I hope in the future they fix that. Necromancer, I have absolutely no idea what they are trying to do. Like they are trying to boost like the primary attack. So usually primary attack builds, they tend to be more into like raid bossing. And like we don't do a lot of raid bossing. Most of the raid bossing now, you're like in a very good warband, right? So like, how is your raid bossing experience? You just reach there and then you go, you attack 2-3 times, the phase goes on, you attack 3 times again, and then the boss is dead. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go do the other one. So until they actually fix like the way the combat rating and the mechanics of the game like really work, then we're probably not gonna take a lot of advantage out of like these raid, builds. So we'll have to see how the Necromancer will play through. Tempest, it looks promising. We have a new main hand for the running Surf, which is gonna add some armor break, which shattered in the armor. Also the helmet. The helmet is actually very cool because the running Surf also now is gonna cause bleeding, and with the added bleed, you can actually have like some synergies with the blood flow. Also other ancestors inside like the kit of Tempest. So Tempest may have like a slight shift on the meta builds. And for the wizard, which was like you forgot on your video to mention like it was a phantom cosmetic. For me, I posted all the ancestors and I forgot the wizard. So people in my comments were like, "Oh my god, like Blizzard must hate wizard because there is no ancestors." No, it was just like my mistake. But here I just want to mention, man, there is an offhand that whenever the lightning nova applies shocked, and shocked in this game is like whenever it's a shocked enemy, it means like it increases 50% of the damage that they take from lightning damage, and also it's gonna have an additional increased damage from you. So just this offhand, if it is, for example, an increased damage from you by like 28% plus the 50%, it's like a almost 80% damage increase just coming from one offhand.
Wow,
So that's a
crazy.
lot. Like the power creep, it is kind of crazy. So yeah, this is like more or less the highlights of the ancestors that I saw from all the classes.
All right, so it seems like you highlighted the wizard going strong to extra strong, and the barbarian going into a much tankier, more survivable build. Those are like the two maybe most highlighted of from what I'm hearing out of you. All right, man, I appreciate your breakdown of that. You definitely look deeper into the essences than I do, so I'm glad that you were able to share that with everyone here. All right, let's move on. We got this new monster commander. This is a boss that's going to spawn inside of dungeons. He's going to work with all of his surrounding minions to make the fight more tactical, more the PvE fight more puzzle-like, I guess they kind of said. And the big thing here is you kill him, the first time you kill him during the day, you get a legendary drop from this. It doesn't, I don't think that they have a timeline on this. Is this going to be a new thing that's in the game regularly?
I feel like this is only gonna come inside the dungeons, so I
Right.
believe it is gonna be the same way as you have like the butcher appearing. It's just gonna be a different affixes, which is gonna be like the monster commander, right?
Okay.
So like we'll have to see how the fight is gonna play out, but I think you're gonna if I look at the image, what I feel like it's appearing is like if there is some ads, I think you're gonna have to kill the ads first to then remove the shield, that red shield from the boss, and then afterwards like probably the boss like removes the immunity and then you kill the boss. we'll have to see how. Probably it's not going to be that challenging, but they say that we're trying to make the sanctuary a very dangerous place,
Dynamic.
and with the cursed shrines and the corrupted heroes, and yeah, but at the end of the day, everything just gets one-shotted. So
Yeah. It kind of sounds like to me, if you do Vanguard right now, you fight that boss in Vanguard, then the boss will shield up, you have to kill the ads, and then you take down the boss. So it sounds like they're utilizing that mechanic here. I do like it, though. I actually enjoy when the Butcher pops out during a dungeon. You get some extra rewards. I just like the Butcher, so more of that for me, always welcome. But yeah, you're probably right. It's just a easy mechanic that'll be figured out quickly.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be easy loot. It gives you 1 per day extra legendary. Like, you cannot complain really about that.
I'll take it. Bout of Realms returns. You got people that are super excited about this, and a lot of people that don't care as well. So both sides of the fence. I will say, there's always good rewards to participate in the Bout of Realms. Even if you lose, you do get some good rewards for participating. Starts February 25th through March 1st. That's going to be the registration. Ranked matches the 2nd through the 6th of March, and then elimination bracket 9th through 15th. I think one of the bigger highlights here, outside of what we had last time around, is the structure will be the same as previous cross-server Bout of Realms tournaments, but not a cross-regional tournament. So it doesn't seem like it's going as expanded and broad as it did the last time around. Do you think this is going to be an alternating, more local one and then a more expanded one? Or do you think that Blizzard ran into some problems last time around with the Bout of Realms being so broad?
I think like that's an option, like what he's saying, and correctly. Maybe they are trying to work like things out, like in the background, to make like the regional experience maybe like even more broad, or maybe like with less latency problems. There's like, whenever it comes like to network and dealing with servers, it is always like a work in progress. They also say that they are trying to fix like some things, or improve at least some things, based on the community feedback, which is also nice. So yeah, like I think what they're probably gonna do, maybe for them, cross server, maybe it's easier, and maybe like every 6 months or every year we're gonna have maybe the big like cross regional tournament, which I think it is quite exciting. During this one, like as you said, like even if you are a free-to-play player, I'll urge you to obviously try to get like a team, and then you just go there to get the freebies. Basically, you just join the match. Even if you lose, you get like some extra rewards, which are nice. For me, I will actually not be here like on the February 25th. I'm actually getting on the flight to go to India, and then I'll reach on the March 6th. So I'm not gonna be able to compete. I'm gonna go and for my wedding. So I'm very excited for that.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I guess that this time Europe will have a chance. I'm not gonna be playing.
You're funny. Well, congratulations on the trip and the wedding and all the personal stuff. That's really exciting for sure. And it's nice. It's nice to take a break, disconnect for a little bit, and remember life, right?
Exactly.
Something that I liked here, at the end of this Bout of Realms, we'll introduce a new type of competition that we've heard the community request for. I know what I think this is. What do you have something in mind?
I have something in mind, but I'll let you go first.
Okay, I think this is actually something pretty simple. I think this is cross-server availability. So right now, we run tournaments on the Treasure Goblin server cluster, and we could only have people in the war games that are on that server cluster, right? I think that this is going to be the ability to do much more cross-server competition, so people don't have to come to my cluster or anyone's cluster to participate in these events. I think it's something very simple like that. What do you think it is? More exciting?
So that could also be cool, because I feel like right now it is very limited, the war games feature. Especially if you're a content creator that you're trying to make like massive tournaments, like most people are not even from your cluster, so like it just alienates like most of your audience. But I feel like it is gonna be a Bout of Realms for the free-to-plays also be competing. So without gems, without like anything. So you see how it is the Conqueror?
Yeah.
I think it is gonna be a free-to-play friendly Bout of Realms. That's just my guess. That's just my guess.
Indez, are you hearing stuff, or is that a complete guess? Come on, what is this?
No, it is because okay, it is something that we already asked, because the first time that the Bout of Realms came out, a lot of community got mad, like, and a
Yeah.
lot of like the low spenders, and like they are not happy because at the end of the day, these tournament Bout of Realms, it is all about like the heaviness, how heavy your account is, and obviously once you have a good account, how well your team plays and all these things. But if you're not even remotely close to be a whale, it is super hard to compete even like for the top ranks, right?
Yeah.
Much like you cannot even think to even go like to the top 3 or the top 4, right? So based on the community feedback, which was like every single time that there was a tournament, I think that maybe what is about to come, maybe they'll try a version of like free to play Bout of Realms. That's just my guess.
I welcome that. I think that would bring direct competition though with their war games feature they're trying to put in, right? Because can't you, Indez, create a tournament very similar to the Bout of Realms and offer it to your people utilizing the war games feature? We can, right?
Yes.
Right. So we'll see. Anything that makes it.
But now imagine this in a tournament format. So it is different, right? So whenever you go into the Conqueror, or
Yeah.
like you get rid of like all of your gems, all of your normal gems, and maybe like a few more things, I think is also removed. So I don't know. Like, this is just my guess. I feel like it will be exciting to see just if the same players that tend to reach to the finals or close to the top teams are still going to be the same teams reaching there. Just now they are going to be completely removed out of like their high resonance and all these things.
I like it. I'll tell you what. We just did a tournament over on our server last week on Friday, and we were unsure how it was going to go. We had everyone remove all of their gems. There was no gems, no pets, a gem cap on normal gems, which I actually think next time we should just completely remove normal gems. And we were talking during the start of the stream saying, I wonder how the battles are going to be. Like, you're going to be missing a whole lot. Your cooldowns are going to be off. Are the battles going to be good? And I'll tell you what, they were actually a lot of fun to watch. And it took out a lot of that, that whale power. And it made a much more even playing field.
I think also what it does, it's like it kind of slows down the combat, because whenever like you have all of your legendary gems, it also means like all of your gear, it is awakened. So it means like you have access to like 10 or 20% of cooldown reduction, which is not strife whenever you go into PvP. So whenever you have higher cooldowns, you have to manage them like slightly better. So it tends to slow down the pacing of like the game. Some people will like that, some people won't, but I feel like right now the meta inside PvP, it is just like everyone has immunity, everybody has AoE abilities. It's all about who is the fastest, who does the most DPS, and I think it removes a bit like of the actual skill element inside the PvP, because if you cannot crowd control anyone, it just like tends to be like really hard for you to even like kite them and all these things. So slowing down a bit, removing maybe in the future a bit of like the AoE damage by maybe by like, I don't know, 50%. I think it's gonna be something that the devs should like start considering, to just make the game a bit more distinct from PvE and PvP, because most people are now almost running their PvE builds into PvP.
Indez, you know how when people go on strike, they'll say, let's say strike from a game, because they're unhappy with something that's going on in the game. They'll say, everyone, and they put a rally together, everyone is going to not play said game for one day. This date, no one's going to play. What if you and I started a gem strike and said, on this day, no one is going to use legendary or normal gems in Battlegrounds, and everyone goes into Battlegrounds without gems. Of course, everyone won't do it. We'll get smoked by people. Exactly. But I think that, I mean, how far is our push, man? I don't think it's far enough to do much, but I think that would actually be pretty cool if we could have a day where you just don't wear gems at all.
I feel like the best way to do that, it is by showing like tournaments like you're doing, right?
Yeah.
To show that it's still like possible to have like a interesting combat and interesting like PvP matches without having all of these additional power. Obviously, like the game just kept evolving, but at the start, we were not as powerful as we are right now. We didn't have
Yeah.
as much movement speed. We didn't have as many cooldown reduction. We didn't have as much crit. So the if you go and literally go watch like gameplay from PvP from like 3 years ago, it was way slower. So whenever it's slower, it just allows you to just maneuver and like outskill the other players much in a much easier way. Nowadays they just like literally just run through you and they
Yeah.
just kill you without even you realizing. So I kind of miss a bit more like the tactical gameplay that we used to have, even though I didn't play the game like 3 years ago, but I can see just based on some videos how it was.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It definitely does slow things down a little bit. It obviously also gives that even playing field. I think it's a good idea, and I think it would be really cool. And this will never happen, but what if Blizzard had a one day per month event where if you don't wear any gems, legendary or normal in Battlegrounds, you get 10 times the reward for each of your Battlegrounds matches. You think that would be enough? And like,
I'm down as long as someone
Yeah.
carries my ass.
I think that would be pretty fun, man. I think that would be pretty fun. I don't know. Okay, let's get back to the update. Enough of my stupid ideas. Tong-Shi's Renewal returns. So this is going on from the 4th of February through the 26th, and this is essentially you're completing tasks and getting these red bags, and the red bags equal rewards. So a red bag is a 1-star gem. 20 red bags is one 2-star gem. 40 is a 3-star legendary. One 3-star legendary normal gems of your choice. What is that even trying to say?
Yeah, it's like rank 3 normal gems. I think that's what it means.
Okay, and then 60 red bags is 3 rare crests. I think that's lame. 3 rare crests right there is lame.
It is very lame. I had the exact same comment. I read like, so you reach at the end.
Yeah.
And so you giving me 2 stars and 1 star, and then at the end you giving me
Rare?
like 3 rare crests. Like, what are we talking about? At least 1 legendary crest. Like, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes it kind of makes me nuts.
I mean, most likely you're gonna run these and get absolutely nothing from them. So 60 bags is less valuable than 1 bag.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It doesn't make any sense.
It
So
doesn't.
if it was 1 legendary crest, I will absolutely just grind for it. I will
Yeah.
still probably do because it's just like you get the bags no matter what. But I have here a comment like regarding these.
Sure.
Bro, I've been playing this game for about 2 years almost now, and this is exactly the same event, and I'm sure next year is gonna be exactly the same event.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about the main events that are coming. Is exactly the same thing. And yesterday on the live stream, I actually like went on like a. I personally have put it a personal deadline for me to keep playing this game. I'm not gonna share it, but I did because I've been wanting like new content to come to the game, like in terms of like progression and all of these things, and I feel like I still like to play the game. I still enjoy to play the game, but I find myself like just every patch like to be like exactly the same things over and over, and to keep you like on this treadmill, and in a lot of boredom, it's starting to hitting me. And I don't want to get to a point that I despise Diablo Immortal. I'm super grateful to the game, to everything that brought to me. But I'm like, okay, I put at the deadline, you know, I'm not gonna say when, but until that deadline, the game still doesn't like bring something that I need as a player. I'm talking about personally as a player, so I can start enjoying the game a bit more as a veteran. I'll probably or go like extremely casual or eventually quit the game.
Huh. Interesting that you bring that up. I think this is a topic of another whole podcast, but we could briefly talk on it real quick. I haven't said this to anyone either, not even to you, but my plan was to do the patch notes yesterday, so Monday, and I wasn't actually planning on getting on with you today, but you hit me up, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. So this is the video that comes out Tuesday. I won't put out the rest of this week. I'm gonna put out only Diablo 4 live streams. I'm not going to play Diablo. I'm going to play Diablo Immortal, but I'm not going to do any videos on it. And I'm just going to put out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll go live for a couple of hours playing Diablo 4. Just to kind of reset and refresh a little bit, because I do feel, kind of like you're saying, that we're just getting stuck on a hamster wheel, and I don't know what brand new stuff will be coming. And being that this is yours and my it's our income, right? Like this is it. We have to see like what's going to be happening. Is Diablo Immortal going to grow? Because if it doesn't, then we're kind of, putting ourselves in a bad spot as well. So again, not the Immortal podcast to be talking about that topic in depth, but well, I just gave my little tease as well as you gave yours. So it looks like we're kind of in the same boat there, Indez. I'm gonna grab a paddle. We'll go down the same river together, my friend.
Hey, let's go.
All right, so we got the new Jaded Fused Warlord Season 49 Battle Pass. I actually think this one looks kind of cool. Can't compare anything to Phantom Market Cosmetics, of course, but I kind of like this
the
one.
art style is looking quite nice. I like the colors. I like the contrast. I like the female wizard.
Yeah,
So, it tends to look quite good.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like that same thing whenever he goes inside the game and you actually see inside the game. A few cosmetics, they look so much better, and a few others, they look like, okay, this is not as exciting. So we'll have to wait and see how does he look.
Yeah, of course. I actually take, you've said that to me in the past. And now I always take that as well. Like if I see something like this and I hate it, I'm like, okay, we got to give it a chance because it could be better in the game. All right, we have Winds of Fortune returning, which is great. We all know what Winds of Fortune is. It's going on from the 4th through the 11th. 2 times rewards on almost everything, almost everywhere. Make sure that you utilize your Winds of Fortune during a day that you're going to be fairly active in the game. I always recommend a Monday or Thursday if you're doing Heliquary. And just try to do a little bit more during that time, and you'll get rewarded plentifully. I'll let you know, Indez, I have been saving. You know that I save shit, man. So I've been saving my Battle Pass rewards for the month. I haven't even been collecting them monthly anymore. So last week I capped out my Battle Pass rewards, where we should be there, 7,200. And I just have been saving it for the end of the month. Now, I also save my mail. And this is like assembly rewards when I no longer need to like push Shadow Assembly. But I also save Winds of Fortune. Look, this is from middle of December, Winds of Fortune events. And I have another Winds of Fortune event right here. So for someone that's, what I recommend you do, being that we're coming up to a Inferno 11 difficulty, is save all this stuff that you can. Save your Battle Pass rewards. I'm not sure if the timeline goes over or not of when that Battle Pass ends and when Inferno 11 comes. But these don't expire. There's no expiration date on this stuff. You could keep it in your mail until your mail fills up. And then when you get to the new Inferno difficulty, you can push that so you can kind of make up a bunch of that spot. That's something that I'm doing. I am actually finding that I have so much experience saved up that I'm like kind of finding myself behind. Like this morning, I'm 2 levels behind the Server Paragon level, where, I mean, I could pop everything that I have and I'll probably be 15 levels above, but yeah, I don't know. I just...
It is a strategy that a lot of people use. Like personally, I don't do that.
I know you don't.
Unless I know. So for example, right now the Battle Pass is gonna expire before the Inferno difficulty 11 comes, right?
Yes.
So I don't see a lot of benefit into saving it, but if the Battle Pass, imagine like the 3rd week will end up whenever we are going into the next difficulty, then you get huge value because you have like 3 weeks like of XP saved. You just collect everything, then you use your mails, you can use your fish and all these things, and then you get to the next difficulty like very, very quickly.
Yep.
So for that, there's reasons like you can use these, but it will definitely depends on the timing. But like I personally, honestly, because I'm a very active player, like I usually just collect everything, and regardless, I will have it. But if I know that the difficulty is gonna be in the middle of one battle pass, I tend to save.
Yeah, no, that's totally worth it and true. I still, so me saving the Battle Pass for the month now is me just getting on a stupid kick in my head that I'm not going to collect anything. Like, I know that there's no additional bonus. I do think that there is a bonus to save your Battle Pass points until Monday, so you can just get that quick surge. But for me, in this case, 10 days when this is over, it's not going to be for the new Inferno difficulty, so it's not worth it, but I'm already on that kick. Okay, good points there. There's definitely some people that are 100% on the bandwagon, save your stuff, collect on Mondays, and then there's definitely people that are 100% against it. What I say is, play the way you want to play, right? And that
Yeah, it's not like that insane. Like depends on how active you are. The more
yeah.
casual you are, the more this kind of strategy will help you out. Because as you said, whenever you go in on Monday, you get 10 more levels, which means like the XP that you're gonna gain from these battle pass boosts is gonna be even higher. So
Yeah, you play every day for hours on stream. You don't need any boost, but for someone that maybe plays an hour a day or less, they can be beneficial. Okay, we have the Lend an Ear to Untold Tales from February 4th through the 25th. Slay through potential limited time events. Survivor's Bane's coming back. Trial of Hordes, Fractured Plane. Okay, so this is all the same stuff, but we're gonna get rewards from this event, right? We have these. They give us tokens, and then we can get some rewards. I'm assuming, right?
yeah,
Yeah, same thing. Okay, and then we have this: Deserve the Redeemer's Redemption.
it's the same thing.
Same
The-
thing.
the
I know.
next month.
It's the same thing. At least Survivor's Bane's coming back, man. I do always enjoy playing that game out.
I mean, it was good for me. Listen, it doesn't matter how good any of these events are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, but it's just like they are. It's completely saturated. It's like the best example I can find. Like the music that you really like a lot, but then it gets spammed in every radio station. So wherever you are, you go to the mall, or you go
played
like
out.
you listen on Spotify, or you go on the card, and every time it's always listening. Like for example, Ed Sheeran, right? Then it just get to a point that like you cannot stand that music anymore. So it's the same as I find it here, like with all of these events. Like it's just like exactly the same thing. I still have to do it because like the main event, it is one of the main sources of you actually to upgrade your legendary gear, because it gives you like these legendary gear boxes, which gives you usually a triple triple or a triple four. Yeah, all of those. If you open those, like the gear is absolutely insane. So you should definitely, before you open all of that, you should save, for example, now for Inferno 11, and then during that difficulty you save everything and you open on the next difficulty. So it's a crazy combat rating boost whenever, but it is kind of sad that this is the main source of gear that you can actually collect, and it's not like it doesn't incentivize you for actually go into the open world and farm legendary gems, legendary gear to actually get upgrades on the gear, because most of the times the gear is just sucks. Like
You're farming
99% of
essences.
the
You're
gear.
farming essences out there.
Yeah,
That's
you're
really
farming
what it is.
instances. You're
Yeah.
not farming gear. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. All right, we talked about this new cosmetic. I think it's gonna look cool. I actually like the golden look and the bright cosmetic look, so I think it'll look cool. I do see the purple and stuff in there, and it does remind me of like what the Tempered Dragon looks like. All right, we got a couple of featured updates. By the way, speaking of played out songs, we just had yesterday here in the U.S. I mean, I'm sure it was on everywhere, but the Grammys. Do you watch the Grammys?
No.
No.
Not
You into
really.
music at all or no?
No, I mean, I used to be more, but over the time, I think like since the Spotify came, I
Yeah.
used to have like my iPod with the iTunes, like with the covers. I had like I used to watch like Machine Head, like Slipknot, and all of those.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like more like into metal and hardcore kind of things. And then over time, with the access like to Spotify, I just became lazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Same
it
thing,
gets you
dude.
access like it gets you access to new songs that probably you will never hear about it. But yeah, it just became like more like a commodity. And over time, like I still love music. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like I'm not as obsessed as I used to be.
Yeah, I was the same as you. I had before even the iPod, my wall was covered with with CDs and with tapes. I had like those 100
Yeah.
packs, And then I got into the iTunes and I even like Napster and LimeWire, and I had all that music in my collection. But now, same thing. I have nothing but Spotify. But I was brought this up because I also like metal. I like hardcore and pretty heavy metal, but I like a lot of stuff. I'll tell you what was a great performance on that Grammys. You should look it up. It was actually Justin Bieber, which I am not a Justin Bieber fan.
Oh my god, I literally just watched that before we were waiting for this.
Tell me that
He was
wasn't fucking good.
It was insane. It
Yeah.
is insanely talented. He is.
I
Like you can hate on the on
Yeah.
his upcoming that he was a cringe teenager and all these things, but most of his songs they are good songs, man.
His newer
And
stuff, man. I love so for context, I can't put it in the video or I would. He goes on stage in a pair of shorts and socks, no shirt, completely like stripped down. And then his performance was too. He goes over with his guitar, he records the riff with his pedal, plays it back, records the drum beat, plays it back, and then puts his guitar on his back and starts singing. It was just clean, man. I love how he just stripped away everything. And I am not a Justin Bieber fan at all.
yeah,
But that was
it's just
good.
like he's showing. Listen, I don't need anything. I'm just this talented.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's funny that you just
It's
saw it.
actually insanely crazy that you bring this up, and I just like literally watched before we get in the call.
That's so. I mean, it's
I
everywhere.
really liked it.
It's everywhere,
Yeah.
but that's funny. Okay, let's get back to the update stuff. We're moving on, but that's what podcasts do, right? We kind of ramble on about things. All right, this new Reforge loadout. It's probably the biggest thing for us to talk about down here. They added a 4th Reforge loadout that unlocks at 480 Reforge stones. We also added a pop-up confirmation, which appears before unlocking any new loadout to confirm your currently active loadout is copied into the slot. Do you think this is a big deal? Do people need more loadouts? Maybe just high-end players?
I mean, like more loadouts, more options is never like a bad thing. Just make sure that you try to min-max the values of your reforges before you clone into the new one.
Yeah.
So, for example, whenever I was a newbie, I didn't know about that, right? So all of my, reforges, like the values are not like min-max, right? So it's like 1.1% beneficial instead of like 3%. So what happened is that now I have 3 loadouts, reforged loadouts, but I had to start mid-maxing like the PvE one because 90% of the times you're doing PvP, PvE, and my PvP ones are not as good. But yeah, just make sure like you, whenever you clone, that you're cloning your best one. Otherwise like it's gonna be a mistake. I have one for PvE. I have another one for PvP. I have another one for tank. So maybe the 4th one that I can think maybe for summons, because summons have like required like summon damage could actually be cool. But yeah, the more the merrier.
I don't use them the way that I should. I just have one right now for PvE. It actually used to be focused on PvP, but I just don't take the time to go into those, I guess.
Yeah,
the
PvP
I'd say a lot
one,
of people don't.
Yeah, if you have like 2, just one for PvP, the other for PvE, I think like it's the way to go, because it makes a big difference. Like, for example, whenever I do like coaching to some people, like especially like some whales, like I look at their reforges and they are not mid-maxed at all, so they can actually mid-max it like in a for like just a few hundred like a few $100. They will mid-max that, and the power that you'll get, it's absolutely absurd in PvP. Like you get like damage to players, you get damage reduction to players. So just make sure that whenever you guys are going into PvP, that you are having at least your PvP reforges, because otherwise you're just gonna get smoked.
Yep. No, I agree. Just a few $100, right, Indez? Just a few $100. All right.
I mean, for the whale that
I
spends
know.
like thousands of dollars, like it's like just if you're gonna spend it in the right way,
I agree. I 100% agree. All right, challenge rifts. We got some more challenge rifts coming. 50 new floors, which means the previous, what is it? Floors, basically the previous 20 floors are going to have an easier combat rating. Take advantage of it. Go get your crystal so you can upgrade your greens. Combat rating changes coming to 10 and 11. Essentially, they're just getting a little bit easier. Taking a look at Inferno 11, I mean, let's look at my combat rating right now. See what we're at.
You should be able to.
Yeah, I'm at 56. I'm at 56 and change. And what they're saying is the combat rating requirement is 54.
Yeah.
So easy. Inferno 11 is like very easy already.
What happens now is like until like the end of the difficulty, they are just gatekeeping like low spenders and free to play to actually be able to pre-farm Inferno 11 or the next difficulty. And so 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, they adjust the combat rating. So plebs like me can actually go and start pre-farming now.
Yep.
But yeah, I cannot do that.
That's exactly what I just did right now. We'll see. Actually, what is the Inferno? Let's take a look at it right now. The combat rating right now is 56.7. So they're dropping it 2,000 combat rating.
Yeah. I am 55, 55 something right now.
I'm gonna try and do it as it is right now without the drop and just see how that goes. I'm a little bit underneath, but we'll see how it goes. All right, we got a few more things here. Let me pull it up really quick. Where are we? All right. Charm effect update. Druid's getting a little bit of change because when he was in certain forms, he wasn't getting the effects of the charm. Okay, that seems like a change that needs to happen. Changes to clan applications, invitations, and joining, so they're going to make that a little bit easier, reworked. Cool, not the biggest
This
deal.
is the biggest thing, in my opinion.
You think it's a big thing?
Especially for us. Especially for us.
Why?
Okay, so in Diablo 4, okay, so now you have a feature which is a community builds, right? You can go inside the game and you can copy someone else's build, right? But that you need to be inside the game and that person has to be shared. So now imagine you make a build, you share it on the community tab, and now you're gonna be able to share with a string. Okay, there is a
Yes.
text string that you can copy. I can send you, for example, hey, Echo, you need a build for whatever. Copy this build. I send you the string on Discord. You copy that string inside the game, and boom, like that, you get the build.
Okay, first of all, I thought you were talking about clan applications and invitations and joining was a big thing, which I don't think it is.
No,
I do think
no,
the
because
build.
I don't even know what that means.
I
Because
know.
the only thing
They didn't write anything
below
about
is
it.
about yeah.
Yeah.
Is the community build.
I think the community build is cool if it's not wonky, right? Like obviously they've been trying to do it so you could share builds and stuff. But the problem comes into place like what if I don't have the same gems level that you have and stuff like that? Like how is that string going to copy it over into my class? Like the gems are going to be a complete wreck and have to be reworked from your armory.
But right now, for example, go into your character. Like, do you know? Go to the builds. That one.
I know, the community build.
And if you save the select, whenever you click on the save the select on the right, you can actually be able to check or
Yes.
uncheck what you want. So I feel like this is what is gonna appear. So you copy paste the text string, and then you're gonna be able to select exactly what you want to copy. So if you don't want to copy the gems, you don't copy the gems, or like you just copy exactly like the skills, the legendary gear. So imagine, like, for example, like for me, I make a build guide, and I will be able to put a text string on my description so people can just copy and paste inside the game instead of like having to go through the whole video just to, like, watch. Maybe it's going to be bad for the watch time, but it is going to be better for the community in general. One of the things that I feel like they have to improve, that I asked as well to Blizzard, is that you are only able to share 10 builds. And that's very low. Like 10 slots is very low because every single class has at least 3 or 4 builds: one for farming, one for dungeons, one for raids, and one for PvP. At least 4. So we just need more slots so we can actually share with the community. Because if I change classes often and I make builds for all of them, I just, like, my slots are full. I cannot share.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. By the way, I saw a couple of your builds in there on in that in-game, which is cool.
So you can see. Oh, you can see also from America, from the NA.
Well, this may have been someone that shared. So there's mine too, like Owl Echo. That was one of my builds.
Oh, so someone reshared. Okay,
yeah. So
okay.
right, someone wrote PVE Indez. So someone's using your build and shared it over here, which is cool. I actually think it's cool that this person's giving credit to the where he got it from. That's cool.
Oh, thank you, man. Wow off. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I think you can only share it with your cluster right now. Maybe in the future they can
Makes sense.
Just make it like worldwide. That would be nice, but
because that's what I think that update coming soon is. I don't think it's a free-to-play Bout of Realms. I think it's a server conjunction thing.
See.
We'll see. Region-specific update. China, they're going to get the ability to customize their wings, which I think Wales will probably love. You know, I mean...
Okay.
Yeah.
Since we are here live on the stream, I'm going to show you a leak. Okay? And you can... I don't know if you are able to share this, like, right now. I saw here some wings leaks that look absolutely crazy.
All right, show me these.
I'm going to share with you on the Discord.
All right, I'm gonna jump in and we're gonna take a quick look. All right, so Indez just shared these with me. This here is these are leaks, right? They may have even gone out yesterday by the time this post, because I'm recording it the day prior. But those are some big ass wings right there, Indez. I like the look.
They are.
Those are awesome looking. And then we have this right over here, which shows like the multiple versions of them. I think this is something to keep whales happy, right? And to just allow them to do the customization. I think it looks cool. I'll never have any wings like this, but definitely a nice little touch. Oh, with that being said, these are only coming to China for right now, so we're gonna have to wait and see if this is something that we ever get over here in North America, or if we have our little baby
I
wings
wonder
over here.
if this is only gonna be like for the maxed out whales, or if you can have your variation of like the red wings, but they are like a bit smaller, or like the blue wings. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, like in the image that like we were checking, is like the big ones.
Yeah.
But I feel like one of the things that the game will have to do is just like the wings at some point they are just too massive. Like I feel like, especially because the camera is like too zoomed inside the game, they will have to try to find a different way, because like the wings in the future will have 14, 15, 16, with maybe 20,000 resonance, and the wings cannot like keep getting bigger and bigger, right? Like it just doesn't
Full
make
screen
sense.
wings.
Because, yeah, full screen wings, you cannot see anyone. So yeah, I'm sure like they are trying to play with some another way to monetize. I will see like if it's actually only gonna be paid, or if you can actually earn somehow inside the game. That'll be nice. But yeah.
Yeah, you earn it
This
by
is,
getting the 20K res, then you get the gigantic wings. That's
yeah,
how you earn
exactly.
it,
Free
right?
to play, man.
Yeah, free to play. Hey, Indez, I always love doing these with you, man. We got to just keep it up, and I think we've been doing a good cadence. Maybe we'll do one a little later in the week, or maybe early next week, just kind of talking about the topic that we briefly mentioned in the center of this one.
Yeah.
That would be a fun one to have as well. Indez did mention that he does coaching for Diablo Immortal players. If you're someone that's looking to take your play to the next level, even if you're a whale that maybe needs to learn a little bit more, hit him up. I don't know his links or anything for that, but I will link his YouTube channel. I'm sure you could find everything over there. Check him out on his streams. He's live almost every day, and he puts out some sweet guys as well. So go check him out. Indez, thanks for coming through, dude. I appreciate it, man.
I love to do these episodes. Let's keep it up, man. Thank you so much for having me, and to your community. Cheers, man.
Thanks for coming, man, and have a great day, everyone. Be good.